Hello, my beasties, and welcome. How are we all today? How are we all doing? Is it TGIF for everybody? Um, so while we wait, while we wait for our guest, who said he may be a minute or two late, he was finishing up some personal obligations. Let's all chat. So tell me how your day is. Tell me what's going on. I'm sure all my lovely beasties saw tonight at 8:30 we have the one and only Legal Mindset joining us. So that could get interesting. Yes. Legal Mindset will be here at 8:30. So that'll be fun. Potentially like absolute chaos, but fun. So Mean John, she is going to give me an Etsy link. She was having some oral surgery, but she should be okay. She said in a day or two. She's going to put up an Etsy link, and I will put it up, post it. We'll put it in chat and in descriptions, and you'll be able to customize and pick. She said, for those of you that don't want glitter, she can do it in like flat black and purple or black and whatever you choose. You get to pick your ombre, you get to pick the colors, all of that. But they'll all be glossy because of the resin top coat. But other than that, you can make them however you'll be able to detail them yourself. Yes, oral surgery. We might need moral surgery for the mindset stream. Ardo, you are right. The beasties may need moral surgery to get through that one, but it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Andrew will be here. He was supposed to be on with me last night, but with the arrest affidavits dropping, and then he forgot he had promised Good Logic. He was coming on. So we had to push it to today. Yeah, that was your molars, Thomas, not your morals. You checked your morals at the door here. Mean John, you need permission to chat in my Discord. You shouldn't, Mean John. Ask Croco, he's my tech squirrel. You should not need permission to chat in my Discord at all, but Croco, my tech squirrel, handles all of that for me. Because I'm not very good at Discord and stuff for the most part. Um, so we're just, we're waiting on Yehuda. Nick, are you talking about the conspiracy theory guy that doesn't know his own alphabet? I've talked to one of his people, but not him directly yet. Although our guest today has some awesome books, which you'll get to hear about when he gets here. enough about their bills. Oh, hold on, I lost it. So, what else is going on, lovelies? Yeah, Yehuda just texted me also the Pew Pew Jew that he should be here very shortly. So, we are just waiting for him. We're just waiting for him. Oh, no clue what that is. No clue what my children did. Ooh, yeah, dentist bills are obscene. In 1 year alone, I spent like $20,000 on dental bills. The vampire red lips are back, guys. Yeah, everybody, please go over to the Pew Pew Jew. Croca just put the link. Give him a follow, give him a like, check out his stuff. He's awesome. He does not have a YouTube. Ooh, Patty, what's for lunch? Did you make me any? I need lunch, Patty. Did you make me anything good? Thomas, I contemplated it. These two veneers are getting replaced very soon, but I wasn't allowed to get the veneers fixed with the cardiac surgery uh, kind of thing. But um, I did contemplate just getting like those full set of implants since my dental issues were from my radiation because I had radiation to the head and neck. Yes, Croco, breakfast and coffee. Non-Romanian red. Um, kind of. It's not my usual red, and I don't know how I feel about it. I may end up switching to my regular red later. Cauliflower with bacon cheese sauce. Okay, Patty, I'm gonna need you to like I bake and I can cook, but Patty, come. I need the patty. Loki with a grill. That would be funny. Yeah, between hockey and radiation to the head and neck, I have a whole bunch of veneers because the hockey players are stupid when it comes to things like that. So, what would you guys like to talk about until our lovely guest is here? We can talk about anything you guys want. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it that way because the last time I said it that way, I had to yeet Kurt. Patty, my kitchen is not kosher, just my mother's house. And I have 3 ovens because I'm crazy. I'll send you a picture. I have a giant chef's kitchen. I literally bought a house that the kitchen needed gutted and was huge just so I could bake and cook all the time. And then I wouldn't feel bad about ripping out a perfectly good kitchen. Tattoo Loki on my knuckles. No, you know what I'm waiting for, Mean John? Um, Disney with the Avengers Campus thing has the Mickey ear headbands. They have a Loki one and a Maleficent one. And they've both been out of stock forever. So I'm either going to have to do that or get someone to make me a set. But yeah, we're going to have our link for the tumblers soon. I mean, I do have tattoos, just not Loki and not on my hands. Yeah, no, Patty, definitely not a kosher kitchen. Tiny person ate half a pound of bacon for breakfast. That's all she wanted. Bacon. Meet up at Loki's. Patty's cooking. Yeah, I mean, my kitchen's like 19 feet by 25 feet. And then I have the really big chef's kitchen, gas range, and oven. And then I have a double oven, and I went all out on my kitchen. And it's all, black granite and stuff. So why not? Have Runkle make me headwear. Ardo, I don't know. I mean, he is a Canuck, but, you know, kind of want the horns, and they're metal. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll be back in stock. Or when I take Tiny Human to Disney, maybe I'll find them. Funny story, when I was in college, I went and auditioned and talked to. Uh-oh. This lipstick may have to change. To, interview. And I was like, look, all I want to do is be Maleficent. I want to be a villain. I'm too tall to be a princess. Mean John, no, I'm not. But I went to college my freshman year in Florida. So, I think the 1950s vibe definitely works. It just didn't fit my needs. But no, every, like, they call them face character, or even the ones in the full suits. There's very specific heights and weights you have to fall in because of costume sizing. So the only characters I'm even eligible for to be like Maleficent, the evil queen, one of the villains. They weren't hiring any Maleficents. I didn't get to live out those dreams, sadly. It's not my preferred shade of red, Victoria. My bigger issue is it is one of the Hourglass Vanish lipsticks, and it's wet. It's not a like a dry down. So like it'll be all over my teeth at some point. No, Patty, I know you meant your kitchen. When I said it didn't fit my kitchen, it was just because I needed all the ovens and I wanted a chef's kitchen. So, yeah, Victoria, I am a red lipstick hoarder. The one day I swatched all my red lipsticks, I think I had like 150 of them or something ridiculous. But I've had to get rid of most of them because they either went bad, dried out, whatever. Um, so, trying to decide on new. Just has to be blue based red. While we wait for our esteemed guest, do one thing. Gloss. What are you? You are not what I was looking for. Oh no! Don't tell me it's MIA. I will cry. My Maleficent will cry. Well, I'll have to go on a lipstick hunt tonight before Mindset so I can find my transfer proof stuff. Because I think we're going to be drinking too. I will double check Victoria. It's been a crazy couple of days, so I was going. I've been trying to get to them all. Oh yeah, Victoria, I'm obsessed with red lipstick. I can never have enough. Yeah, Patty, that was like primarily the reason I did it this way. I don't have to worry about timing things at like Thanksgiving dinner or for holidays. I can literally do it all at once. Or I did the math one day. I can do 9 dozen cookies at the same time. Okay. Mr. Raymer is on incoming in a minute. Yeah, Ardo, please don't do that. Although I can say I ran into that issue in Europe, especially like since American sized baking trays don't fit into a lot of European ovens. Yeah, red lipstick and dark red nails, or really dark nails, is usually me. I have no nails right now because when I had my calf like a week and a half ago, I had to take everything off. Being able to cook that many at once is amazing. Yeah, Patty, it makes Christmas cookies or like holidays so easy. And I love to bake, so all about it. He said he is on his way. So hold on. What issue does he have? Let's square away the gift. Hold on. Let's see if that one works better for him. Thanks, STFU. You're insane. Okay, guys, let's give a warm beastie welcome to our esteemed guest. Hello, the Pew Pew Jew.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Yehuda?
Oh, I'm good. Just dealing with the baby and God, that kid is such a pain. I mean, I love him, but like he's Satan's spawn. So but
All
yeah.
kids go through that phase.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, he's good. He's talking in the crib right now, but um been a long morning with him.
Well, I mean, if you have to hold him on camera, he can, I don't. All up to you.
I appreciate that.
Doesn't bother me.
Thank
Parent
you.
life.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so before we get into it, everybody, like I said, this is Yehuda. He is known as the Pew Pew Jew. We've already dropped. Yes, I need that. I need a hockey jersey. Um, Pew Pew Jew has an Instagram and a backup Instagram because obnoxious. I have already had Tech Squirrel drop it in the chat once. He will periodically link Yehuda in the chat. Go ahead, give him a follow, give him all the beastie love, and make sure you give him a follow.
Thank you.
So, do you want to tell everyone a little about you and all the stuff you do?
Yeah, so about 12 years ago, I bought my first firearm, maybe 10 years ago. I don't even remember anymore. I bought my first firearm. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And uh, through a series of unfortunate events, nothing horrible, just being in a liberal state, I decided to write a children's book on firearm safety.
You can
The
hold
book
it
is
up. Pimp the book out.
oh, you know what? I so didn't prepare just because like I've been chasing a spunky little monster all morning. Um,
Okay. I'll make
but
sure to
yeah,
link
so
them.
but yeah, right. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know where I am. Right there, that one. It's called Safety On. It's an introduction to the world of firearms for children. And I didn't even think it was going to be published ever. I just wrote it because I wanted my kids to have a book that is not necessarily a book about for parents, but a book actually for children. So I wrote it. It took me 5 years to publish. It finally got published um, in God, I think nearly exactly 5 years ago. 6 years ago, January 2017, and I kind of just fell into this writing cycle where I pumped out 8 books in 4 years, and in that time, besides writing books on the Second Amendment for children as well as some satirical gun books for adults, one of my friends called me the Pew Pew Jew, and that kind of launched an entire brand selling, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, hats, all that kind of stuff. So it's been fantastic. And yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I love your trolling different politicians book. It's my favorite.
Yeah, that one was fun. That's actually been which one is it? It's right there. There. I can't even do this backwards. It's called Bullet Points: Reasons Why America Should Embrace Common Sense Gun Law. And that has been a very, very fun journey since that one came out about a year and a half ago. Um, man, I got hate from the right, from the left. I mean, it's been amazing with that book because I've had people who are totally pro gun, completely just lose their mind when the book came out because they're like, "Oh, the Pew Pew Jew is sold out. He's a turncoat, a redcoat. We can't believe he's sacrificed the Second Amendment for common sense gun law." Uh, and then you have people on the left who buy the book on Amazon and return it immediately because they hate it because of what's inside of it. And people on the right, a lot of them are, you know, they some of them have great senses of humor and they're like, okay, we totally got played. And then some of them are like, well, it's not even funny. Yeah, well, you just don't have a
Oh
sense of
no, it
humor.
is. You just need to find your sense of humor. It's
Exactly.
hysterical.
Absolutely. So it's
Do you
been
want to?
fantastic.
Do you want to go grab the tiny person? You can bring him on. I don't care.
Oh, I know. He needs to take a nap. I'll let him cry. I'll cry it out for a little. He's kid number 4. I'm okay with letting him cry.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm just saying it doesn't bother me either way.
I
My
appreciate that.
my small person, you'll hear her in the background some days. She's at school right now. Um, so, do you want to explain why I brought you here today? Saw a tweet courtesy of our Pew Pew Jew, or was it on Instagram? And I was like, we all need to talk.
Uh, I I don't remember which tweet, and I apologize,
Oh, yeah, it's okay. You
but
don't have
I
to.
know I know it was just like 2 days ago. But like, I can't even tell you how crazy my life is. I mean, I had surgery a month ago on
Yeah, I
my
know. How are you
stomach.
feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling much better, but like I'm still in recovery mode. So
Yes.
my stomach is still like flipping out, and I've lost 17 pounds in a month. And like my brain is just all over the place. So
Was it a hiatal hernia repair?
it was,
I
yes.
had that surgery. It sucked. I
Yeah,
had it
it
in college. Ugh.
yeah, it totally, like some days you're feeling great and then like it'll just knock you over the next day. And between the surgery and dealing with my 17-month-old, um it's just been I've lost my mind. Let's just put it that way.
Put them in a
So
box with air holes. Just mail them
I keep
over.
I keep telling my wife that I'm gonna use the 2-year return policy. Um,
He's still under warranty. Just send him to me.
exactly. But yeah, so let's talk. Remind me
Yeah.
the tweet because or post because I know I do that like a
Oh, sure,
thousand
not a
times a day.
problem. I had seen a post that you put up about the rise in anti-Semitism, especially in the Orthodox Jewish community, and
Yes.
why people should practice concealed carry, Second Amendment rights, and then somebody clapped back with like how can you call yourself a good Jew and advocate for guns?
Yes.
And I was like, we need to talk. Not you and I. You and I have talked before,
Right.
but in general, and the rise in anti-Semitic issues lately.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there definitely is a massive rise in hate crimes against Jews. I believe what is it like Jews make up like 2% of the country, but I think like 65% of all hate crimes are aimed at Jews. So I mean, and that's coming from the FBI. That's not coming from me pulling numbers out of a hat or stuff like that. I mean, that's literally coming from the FBI. So it's been crazy, and unfortunately, there are a lot of Jews. I would say a vast majority of Jews still in this country who, one way or another, just refuse to take their life into their own hands. They refuse to accept, or let me rephrase it. They refuse to embrace the Second Amendment. Now, I get it where a lot of the hate crimes are happening in places like New York because there's a very populated, densely populated Jewish world there, and they have a really crappy Second Amendment laws, uh, or I should say, gun laws. It's unfortunate that a lot of Jews just don't learn to embrace the Second Amendment, use it for their benefit. I know my wife just went through something, and I mean, she was shaken up, and my wife, who's been incredibly supportive of what I do, and with my books and my brand, and all of the things that I do with the Second Amendment, she's never been a gun girl, and that's okay. I'm not going to force her, but like, she went through something recently, and she turned to me. She's like, "Okay, I want to learn. I need to learn." She goes, "I don't want you to be out of the house and then, you
Send
know."
her, send her here to the lair. We specialize in females with guns. Um,
No, absolutely. No, it's good. Like I said, it's so important, but it's crazy that Jews refuse to take the Second Amendment seriously.
yeah, I actually just double checked. Anti-Semitism rose 33% in the UK last year and 43% in the United States. Like
Yeah,
anti-Semitic hate crime.
yeah, and it's out
That's
there.
insane.
Yeah,
Like we're talking 34% of the reported hate crime in the UK, about 30 translated to almost 4,000 cases.
yeah, and I've seen that. I saw that set too, and it's crazy. Now, I guess I understand, you know, Jews in the UK not being able to even get anything, including knives. But I talk about it all the time. Like, okay, you live in New York, you can't get a gun, get a knife. You can't get a knife, get a baseball bat. You can't get a baseball bat, learn self defense. I mean, the idea is the more scared they are of attacking us because they don't know whether you're armed or not, the better it is for Jews across the country. And what I mean by that as well is that you have Jews who I,
Say what you want. You're good on this
oh,
channel.
no, 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 I'm not worried. I'm just trying to like figure out the best way to say it. Yeah, we got to make them more afraid of us than we are of them. And we're never going to stop anti-Semitism, right? We have, I don't know how many of your followers are Jewish or if they know the phrase Esav Soneus Yaakov, right? That the children of Esav basically will always hate the generations of Jacob, and that's really what it translates to. And we will always have anti-Semitism. We've had it since the beginning of Judaism, and it will always be here, every single generation. However, we're never going to stop it, but what we could do is slow it down. And the only way to slow it down is to make them more afraid of us or attacking us than we are of them attacking us. I mean,
Very well
I,
said.
yeah, I walk to and from my synagogue. I walk around this community, and I once had a friend of mine. We were walking. I had to run onto errands. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to tag along." And this was at the height about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when anti-Semitism was just beginning to, really start bubbling up more and more, become a lot more prevalent than it has been for a while. And my buddy's wearing a hat, and I'm wearing my yarmulke, and he says to me, he goes, "Man, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid that you're wearing your yarmulke? Like, don't you want to wear a hat?" I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm not, the only extra thing I'm wearing to protect myself is a spare magazine for my Glock that I'm carrying on my right hand. Like, that's it. Like, I don't need to hide the fact that I'm a Jew. If someone wants to attack me because I'm Jewish, understand that I have 30 rounds on me at any given time, all hollow point, and I will gladly drill holes in someone who tries to attack me, my family, or my friends physically." And he looked at me. He goes, "Well, damn." Like, wasn't expecting that answer, but that's really what it comes down to is I refuse to be a victim, and I think a lot of Jews need to, and this gets me in hot water every time I say it. Jews need to get over the Holocaust. And what I mean by that is they truly need to stop living like sheep led to slaughter. They need to get rid of that victim mentality and start embracing a David versus Goliath mentality. So until that happens, we're going to continue to see tons of Jews being attacked. And I love how you see, like, oh yeah, we just got this professor fired, or that professor canceled because they said anti-Semitic stuff. Good. For every professor or individual you get fired or kicked off or canceled, there's 30 others waiting in the wing to take over. And you know, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't hide, and I've shared with my followers. My grandmother was a Holocaust survivor, survived three different camps um, before coming to the U.S. And I have her number tattooed on me because the never forget thing. But what really drove it all home, and I've also shared that a lot of my mother's side of the family is very religious and outwardly presenting. My dad's family was very reformed. Um, but I was supposed to be at Tree of Life Synagogue when the shooting happened. I was running late because of my child. She didn't want to leave. I was running late. I was running late to get my grandmother, and we were going to head over to Tree of Life, or yeah, a congregant. And on the way there, the news broke of the active shooter at Tree of Life, and took my grandmother home, and we all talked, and I said, we were talking, and she said to me, "I never thought that even once in my life I would be someone would try to exterminate me for my religion, let
Right.
alone have it happen a second time in my life." And it, she never had that victim mentality of it, and was always very supportive of my job, never whatever. But she was just like, the fact that this happened 3 blocks away, I never thought I'd go through it again. It's been 70 something years, and now I see this again.
Right.
Um, And I always say, she passed away over the summer and at, the age of 99, she had a great life. But I'm almost glad she did because she didn't have to see the Russians go through her hometown again. She was born in the Ukraine and then moved to Czechoslovakia. So I said, I'm glad she didn't have to see something that would be very upsetting to her
Right.
again to relive it. But, I've always been a concealed carry. Everyone knows I'm a competitive shooter. I've taught, I've, I teach to women. But after Tree of Life, my cousin and quite a few of her friends came to me and said, teach us how to shoot. Because for those of you who are not Jewish, and Yehuda can probably explain about it, and I can because I'm not as observant, especially women in Jewish communities, we tend to be modest if you're observant. So it can kind of interfere with things like concealed
So
carry and, of course, the
it
mindset, and
just
it
quickly,
sets you out.
right? Just explain quickly though. It's not just about being modest. We're talking about dressing modestly,
Right.
right?
It's a,
There's a big difference, right? I know a lot of
yeah,
Christian women who are incredibly modest, but we're talking about dressing
in the way
modestly,
they
being covered
dress.
up. Right? Exactly.
And in the way they dress. And it kind of, you stick out. But, and before somebody says it, nobody forces anybody to dress a certain way. It is a decision in Judaism that you make for yourself. Men do not force women to do anything. So, anybody that wants to hold it up to like Iran or Iraq, you can miss me with that. It's never forced on anybody, it's a personal choice. Um, but, they tend to have lots of kids. And on the Sabbath, on Saturdays, the men will stay at services through most of the morning, and the women will go home to get lunch and stuff together, and the men come back later a lot of the time. So you will see them walking with large groups of children. And my cousin and a lot of her friends were like, I don't feel safe anymore. And Pittsburgh has a fairly large Jewish community for the size city it is. And so, I started teaching her and her friends how to carry in line with the modest dressing. And I think it took that to change their mind, for them to start feeling unsafe and like a target. But until that point, they were all very anti gun. And what highlighted it, I think, even to another level, is both my grandmother and my great aunt's funeral, they're both survivors, was picketed by the Westboro Baptist Church.
I love those people. They're crazy.
You know, thing like people showed up that were not there for good reasons. So it's an important thing that we always say never again in Judaism, and not just in Judaism. People say never again with terrorism, with everything, but nobody's willing to make the change. Nobody's willing to step up and start concealed carrying and fight back. And I think that's where you take a really important stand in the community.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'm not. It's something I've been speaking about for years now, and I am very against the stance of a lot of Jewish communities who are like, you know, we gotta just the police. We have the police on speed dial. I'm like, all right, genius. Average response time is 11 minutes. You're all dead. Um, and I have a very hard time seeing Jewish communities relying on the government to protect them. Uh, even when they have a security guard in front now, that's a great thing. But let's be honest. How many security guards? I mean, they're getting paid what 20, 25 an hour, right? Most of them, give or take. Do you think that they're willing to put their lives down or lay down their lives for a bunch of Jews praying? No. I would venture if a guy comes in with a fully, full automatic AR or even a semi, or whatever it is, like I think most security guards in most cases will move away and will be like, all right, man, just and that's why I push very hard for Jews to start carrying on them in all aspects.
So, again, because I don't know how much of my audience knows this, but in Jewish funerals, the immediate family steps up to put at least a shovel full of dirt into the grave.
Right.
So it was very apparent to the Orthodox rabbi that I was carrying in a shoulder holster at the funeral. And I expected to get some flack from him. And he's like, "What do you have?" And I told him, he's like, "Ah, I'm a Glock man myself." Like,
Nice.
this Lubavitch rabbi at the cemetery, at the gravesite, is like, "What's that? I got one too. Hold on."
That's awesome. That I love seeing that. I
Which
mean,
was
I've taken
hysterical.
yeah, no, that's amazing. I've taken a lot of um one of my favorite things to do is I take a lot and this is if you're in the gun world and I don't necessarily just mean like actually working in the gun industry, but if you're attuned to the gun world, women are the largest growing demographic in the firearms industry, and like more often than not, women tend to be better shooters than men.
We are.
It's a yeah, it's amazing to see, and I love it. And one of my favorite things to do is there's a lot of young women in my community. I mean, I'm 38. So when I say young, I'm talking about, 20, 22 to even my age, um, who are more interested in learning to shoot than their husbands. So they'll call me up and say, hey, can you take us and teach us? And obviously I give that, being a gun safety writing books on gun safety for kids, I run them through all the whole gun safety gamut, and then we go to the range and we first walk around and I show them different brands, different models, which one feels good in your hands. This is proper grip. This is what you're going to do inside, and it's fantastic. And one of the crazy things is, again, for those that don't know, in Judaism we have a concept called shomer negia, which translates to guarding touch. And really what it means is from the time a Jewish male is bar mitzvah at age 13 and a Jewish female is bat mitzvah at age 12, technically they're not really allowed to touch the opposite sex. They can hug or kiss their mom, grandma, the sisters, but that's really it. They can't hold hands, they can't cuddle up with another someone from the opposite sex. And it's a lot of Orthodox Jews practice that. So I'll never forget a rabbi in my community and his wife called me up and they're like, hey, we need to learn. I'm like, great, that's fantastic. Let's go. And I picked them up and we're on the way to the range. And I tell them straight out, I said, look, I turned to the rabbi's wife. I said, here is the deal. We are dealing with firearms. A lot of things happen when you're firing the gun. And it's not just, the gun going off. You have the recoil, you have other people shooting. I said, and most importantly for this conversation, you have casings flying out. I said, in many cases, a casing will fly out, maybe hit the barrier, and come back at you. I said, I have seen casings go down women's shirts into their bras. I've seen it just go down their shirts. I've seen it, a lot of women wear the head coverings, right? The shaitels, I guess wigs, right? I've seen it hit those and start, burning people. I said, when or if a casing flies off and if it hits you, whether it's your hand, whether it goes down your shirt, and at any point I see you turning with a gun, I said the idea of this idea of the shomer negia of guarding touch goes out the window. I said I will have my arms wrapped around you so fast to keep that gun pointed downrange, and it's always fun to see the reactions. Um, sometimes sometimes you get like the husbands are like, oh, okay, I guess that's okay, like thinking about it. And I have not yet met with a woman, Orthodox Jewish woman, who's like, "Yep, I have a problem with that." Every single one, they're like, "No, that makes perfect sense. Like, we have no problem with if that happens. Like, we're learning, and we don't want anyone to get hurt, and that's why we're training." So it's always fun to take women shooting more than men because they're so much more attuned to listen to what someone has to say. And again, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm the best instructor. I have a lot of female instructors that I'm friends with here who I call and I go shooting with constantly. Um and I freaking worship these women because they are such amazing teachers. But I've also found that women listen a lot more even to male instructors, as long as you're not being like a total, you know, macho A type. Like, you got to check that ego at the door, right? Clearly, that has to happen. Otherwise, you're gonna be a crappy teacher. So it's always fun to take people shooting, especially the women, because they're so much more interested in learning and soaking up the information without being like, "Well, I can shoot." I'm like, "No, you can't, man. Like, you can't hit the 8 ring 10 feet away. Not gonna
Uh,
happen."
yeah, I mean, a lot of my cousin's friends weren't comfortable with it, so that's why, I hold female only classes that I teach, um, for their comfort.
Right,
For the Orthodox community, I do teach female only classes.
right,
And I get a fair bit of very Christian women that don't, that practice some similar aspects, but I teach female only classes, and I definitely tailor some of it based off of religion and how they carry and things. But yeah, women are naturally better shooters. We have better breath control, physiologic control, and they do tend to be a little bit more receptive to coaching than guys. Um, I've told this story before, and you'll laugh. I was at the range one day relaxing, and I know you all like to make fun of it. Chat, here's your chance to make fun of me. I have my 50 caliber Desert Eagle in my DE and 44 Magnum,
nice.
and my dad was range mastering that day, and I fired off 2 rounds, and the gentleman, yes, the Deagle story, and the gentleman in the lane next to me dropped his gun because he was so startled. He had like a 9 millimeter or something. But when the Deagle went off, he literally just dropped the gun because, like, what was that? And so my dad had to hit the alarm so we could go out and, retrieve his weapon safely and go through the whole thing. And he asked what it was. And I told him, he was like, "Oh, can I shoot it?" Generally, I don't let people touch my other weapons. And I was like, "Okay, fine. Sure, I'll be nice." I'm not kidding when I tell you this man picks it up, and he was like a 28-year-old bro, like
Right.
stereotypical. And I'm not a very big person, and I can fire my deagle one handed. It's because
Okay.
I have a lot of practice. I'm used to it. I'm at the range multiple times a week. Macho Man over here picks it up one handed, goes to fire, and I was like, "You may want to recoil.
Right.
You may want both hands." If a girl can do it, I can do it, came out of his mouth. Squeezes off the first shot, smacks himself in the forehead with the butt end of it, thanks to the recoil, knocks himself out cold, and he's bleeding and laying on the ground. My dad had to hit the thing again. We had to send him out in an ambulance. And to this day, he has a slide scar from where the slide imprinted and left a scar. He needed 2 stitches in his forehead. And I
That's
was
amazing.
like, "Told you so."
Well,
Whatever, my
I
man.
there's so many great range stories that you have. I mean, I remember, so my darling wife, um, for my 29th birthday, again, I'm 38, so we're talking about 9 years ago. She didn't wish me a happy birthday. I didn't get a card. I didn't get a present. But what I did get is lifetime supply of brownie points because she totally forgot my birthday, which is fantastic. So the following year for my 30th, we went to Vegas for my 30th, just me and the wife. And we went to a place called Battlefield Vegas. And
Oh, where they have
there,
the full auto.
well, forget the full auto. It was fantastic because they even had a minigun. So I told my wife, I get to get whatever I want, no matter the cost, no matter the cost, and she is not allowed to say anything but "Happy birthday, honey, I love you." That's it. So what happened is I was like, all right, guys, let's get that minigun heated up, and they bring it out. It's great because it's on a tripod that's bolted to the ground already. So they just bring the gun out, mount it on the tripod. They put 100 rounds in it. But when you're shooting that gun, everyone on the line has to stop. They don't allow anyone to shoot while someone's shooting the minigun. So there was probably 8 lanes in this little room that we were in, and it was me, 2 of the instructors, and my wife standing behind me. And there was another instructor about 3 or 4 lanes down with a group of about 5 Australians. And we know Australia has horrible gun laws. So, they think they're cool that they're shooting like a little, 22 or 9 mil, and you can hear it. I let off 100 rounds in 1.3 seconds. In the video, as soon as those 1.3 seconds finish, you hear someone in the back with an Australian accent go, "What the fuck?" And no one explained to them what was going on. They said, "Hey, you got to stand back." It was so loud. It was amazing. And like I said, we all have, as instructors and gun people, we all have fantastic stories. It's great. I love it. But to be honest, I just got my first suppressor, and I can't even begin to tell you how much fun it is to shoot. I mean, I'm sure but or at least you've shot. Come on, you have to have at least shot suppressed stuff before.
I have a class 3 stamp and an FFL, so yes.
Yeah. So I just got the Omega 9K. I actually have it. I know YouTube doesn't allow gun.
Yeah, you can't pick it up on screen though.
Stupid. Anyways, so I have the Ruger PC charger.
Mm-hmm.
I just got, and I got a folding brace on it, and I have 5 30-round Glock mags, and I have the Omega 9K on that as like my little truck gun. I'm not going to pick up the gun, I know that, but like everything is in this little backpack, like 150 rounds, a medical pack, my can, my friggin' gun. It's amazing. And once you go suppressor, it's so hard to go back.
I mean, they don't make as big of a difference, I think, to me than they do to a lot of people. I don't hide that shooting as long as I have 2 50 caliber rifles. I have a Barrett and a Macmillan.
Do you really? That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
So
have you ever mag dumped a Barrett?
I have. I also have a Bohr computer on it.
Okay, so there's a huge YouTube, a huge Instagram account called Mr. Gun Official, Mr.Gun.official, and he's a Texas boy, lives about an hour 40 from me, and I have friends who are always there, so they call me up like, "Hey, you got to come shoot with us." So we get there, and he's got like, I one of the biggest arsenals I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy. So he takes out this gorgeous Barrett and puts 10 rounds in it. He goes, "You want to shoot it?" I'm like, yeah. He goes, "You can only shoot it as long as you mag dump it." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got to mag dump it." He goes, "That's the only way I'm letting you shoot my Barrett." I'm like, "All right." I mag dumped it, 10 rounds. My shoulder was sore for weeks.
You didn't have it in the pocket right then.
So here's the thing. I did have it in the pocket. The issue was there was no place to sit. I was standing in a very weird position. It like it was on a table that was like 2 feet lower than me. So like I was kind of like bent forward. Like it was a it was a horrible way to shoot. But I'm a small guy and I did not want to um handhold it and mag dump it that way. I was just I didn't trust myself at that point that I wouldn't have a round fly 3 miles away. Just, like, but no, it's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I have I don't know if you've seen them, the Bohr, the Bear
Yeah,
Optics rangings. Yeah, I have a Bohr. I have a, Bohr on it and Loophole optics on both it,
sweet.
and then I have the Loophole optics on my Macmillan.
That's awesome.
Um, but no, I have lots of firearms. Although I'm waiting, chat, you are disappointing me. You have not give. He's a Glock man. You are disappointing me, chat. I call them the gun that Tupperware built. I
You
know I
know what?
tease you about it all the time. One.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm fine with it because they work fantastic and I can hit my targets with them.
You're
It
also anti 1911. Like, let's go.
Oh, first off, I am not anti 1911s. I
You called
love
me geriatric.
Hold on. I love 1911s. What I love doing is picking on both the Glock world and the 1911 world, and because I stir the pot and I love posting memes about back to back World War champs. I absolutely love stirring the pot, and I love seeing these boomers who are like diehard 1911s, 1911ers going after people who are shooting. Oh, you're shooting a sissy plastic gun. And you're like, all right, boomer, you only have 8 rounds. And like, I love the back and forth. So I will shoot and own anything that goes boom, anything. And I mean that. Like, I love anything. Hell, I have a freaking Nazi gun in my safe, right? I have a Walther P38 with Nazi insignia still stamped on it that I was able to get my hands on when I used to work at a range, because some World War II veteran was selling it. I have that, and like if I have that, trust me, I have no problem owning a 1911. I just haven't found the right one yet.
Well, I think I teased you on your last post, and I said I will take your Glock and see you a Les Bear Custom 1911 any day.
I mean,
Let
you're more than welcome to send me a Les Bear custom. I mean, I'll trade
I'm
my
not.
Glock for
I
that.
will not send it to you, but I will let you shoot my Les Bear Custom.
I've, I've,
And to answer your question, my Les Bear 1911 is 18 plus one. It's a double
nice.
stack, and my Power Ordnance is a double stacked.
It's a 45.
Yeah, my Les Bear is a 40. My Para is a double stacked 45.
Okay, okay.
So I got everybody. Like, when it comes to someone's like, I have more shots in my Glock. I was like, no, you don't. And I
So
have 3 spare mags.
so 1 second. I'm
Still
gonna
try me.
have to see. Let me
Because
let me see.
I'm obnoxious like that.
Let me see if I can find it quickly. There is one 1911 that my buddy sells in his store here, and I have fallen in love with this gun. Um, I'm gonna message you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Um, it is a Colt 1911, but has
I have the Gold Cup 1911 Colt.
so this is a 1911, but it's custom work by. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it. Custom work by Nighthawk.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a collab. Here, I just sent it to you.
Yeah.
Um, that is my 1911 dream gun right there. But I don't have the money for it. So,
Oh, I love
um,
my Les Bear. After you own a Les Bear, you will have the worst time going back. Like, it'll spoil you. Um, yeah, I can't. I have Glocks don't fit my hands. B, I called them the gun that Tupperware built, but I mean, I am just um, not a fan of Glock in general.
And that's
I'll
fine. Like I said, I'll be
Everybody has
honest,
their own preference. The best
and
gun's the one you'll shoot.
I'll tell you something. I had a friend call me up. He's like, "Hey," he goes, "I had a business partner. He had a bunch of guns. He wanted to get rid of one. Um, I told him he overpaid, but it was a high point. And here's the thing: high points are big, they're clunky, they're heavy as hell, but they will fire every single time. And if you are accurate and you can use a high point to your advantage to make sure that you're safe, don't care. Good for you. I'm not going to gun shame you. So I'm with you 100%. I like poking fun at people who I have friends who carry 1911s. And I mean, I think the one gun that everyone can agree with, and I'm going to get so much hate for this. I think the one gun that everyone can agree with that we can all make fun of are people that carry Springfields, like XDSs and stuff like that. Uh,
I own one. I don't ever.
shoot it.
I own one. I've never shot. But you know what? That's like everyone makes fun of me because one of my EDCs is a Ruger. I have one of the old Ruger 90 P91, which is the same as the P89.
Right.
I have put thousands and thousands of rounds through it, and I have never had a single misfire or issue with it.
I
I
love
did
Rugers. I have
I did
two.
once, but that was an ammunition issue. It wasn't. It was the casing was slightly flared a little bit from when it was on the production line.
Right.
But I've never had an issue with my Ruger. Everyone's like, it's so heavy, it's ugly, get something newer. And I'm like, no, because you can do anything you want to it, and it fires every time. You know, uh,
Can I just tell
go for it. You can do
ST
anything you want, dear.
STFUFFS right there? I guess he's one of your moderators. He
He's
just
one of my
said
people.
he said he's an XD owner, XDS 45 and XD9 owner, and he takes such offense. Well, I'm gonna tell you to shut the F up for F6 right there. Just
Oh
use
no,
your
he's
name against.
joking.
I know he is. I know he is. I have no doubts. But like, I'm
No,
gonna use his name against him.
I've had people like that when he's ribbing people in the chat. They're like, he was mean to me. I'm like, no, he's
No, he was.
not.
Yeah. Oh no, look, I get it, and I clearly will keep on making fun of Springfield owners, especially because they need to know where to hold the gun properly, right? They have the grip zone, right? Because God forbid they learn to shoot without a grip zone. But yeah, I honestly I hate the Springfield line. I don't like the way it carries. I don't shoot well with them. I just don't like the feel of them. But if, like I said, same thing with the high point. If it works for you, I'll fight next to you. I'm totally fine with that. Um, it really depends. I mean, yeah, yeah. I honestly I like anything that goes boom. Anything.
Yeah, I have some pretty cool ones. I have the very large caliber ones. I have the Gold Cup edition, the Colt 1911 Gold Cup. Um, I haven't, I carry an M&P some days. I have my Ruger. I do own a Keltec. I own tons of guns. The only thing I don't own is a Glock, but I always joke with my friends. I'm like, we don't shoot it the way we took it out of the box. I'm gonna need you to turn that for me because that's generally how you see people with the Glock. I'm like, no, it's not meant to be shot how you took it out of the box. Turn it so your sights are up.
Right. Yeah.
But
So no, I look. I was taught on the Glock. I love Glocks. There's a lot of other guns that I like right now. I'm very very. Maybe it's because I have I have a lot of sensory issues.
mm-hmm.
Like I don't wear a wedding ring. I can't wear any kind of necklace. I can't have my sleeves roll down like if I'm wearing on Shabbat. Like I can't have like my white sleeve shirt, my white shirt, button down shirt. Like
Yeah.
I button down shirts. I have to have the sleeves rolled up. Um, I I can't wear a tie with my top button closed.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a lot of sensory issues. So with grips, I'm very, very particular about grips. And yeah, so there's a lot of guns out there that I won't buy, even though I can shoot well with them, just because I hate the grip. Um,
No, next
so
time you're in PA, I'll take you out,
yeah, I
and
would absolutely love that.
or
So
next time I'm down in Texas. But no, you'll fall in love with the Les Bear. A lot of mine I have the Hogue wraps on.
so I don't like the Hogues. I like the on all I because I have three Glocks and one of them is completely custom. I don't know if you're familiar with the company DEFCON 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the owner, and he did a fantastic job taking in my my buddy who owns the store gifted me Gen 3 Glock 19 because they were so hard to come by, and I sent it to this company DEFCON 3, and this guy just it's a completely different gun. It does not feel like a Glock, and I love it, and it's kind of like my go-to. But my normal everyday carry is a Glock 43X that I uh did some work on it, and I put the Talon grips, the
Mm-hmm.
rubberized Talon grips around it. I really like the feeling a lot more. And for I am not a Glock 17 guy. It's a little too big for me. I'm pretty small. I'm only about 5'6". I don't have a big handprint, so um, Glock 17. I like my Glock 19s. I have two of those, a Glock 43X, and then um, I don't know, Ruger. I do have one Smith and Wesson, even though I hate the grip. It's a 22. It's their M&P 22 for my kids. They love to shoot it. Um, then I have a revolver and I have my Nazi gun.
When I got my, which one was it? My one Sig, I have had them. It was one of my race guns. So my one Sig has custom molded grips for my hands,
Okay, so that's really cool.
which was
Yeah,
awesome. But no one else can use it because anyone else that grabs it's like,
it doesn't feel well. Yeah, I think honestly the best gun I have ever shot in my life. And this I man, I don't even know if she still has it. I gotta message her. Do you remember Corinne Mosier?
no.
So she was a competition shooter. She shot for Staccato, and almost 3 years ago, this May will be 3 years. Her husband, who was such an amazing guy, was a cop in Overland Park, Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
and he was off duty. I think going to pick up ice cream for the family, something like that, and carjacking, chased the guy down, killed the guy, but he ended up being killed in the line of duty. And she, to this day, I talk to her pretty often. She's kind of out of the gun world. She just needed to leave. She just couldn't be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And because she used to work for Staccato, she called me up one day. She's like, "Hey, I'm going to be at Staccato tomorrow. Do you want to come shoot with me?" I'm like, "Oh, please, let's do it." So she had the Staccato DVCC, the carry version.
Mm-hmm.
And because she worked with Staccato, she had the Staccato armorer uh, at her beck and call anytime to work on her guns. Her DVCC was the best gun I have ever shot in my life. I can't even begin to tell you how smooth it was. They say, shooting a more expensive gun doesn't make you a better shooter. Oh god. I instantly became a better shooter. Like I can't even explain it. This gun was just the perfect gun, and it fit my hand, and Now I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna ask her what she ever did with it because if she's willing to part with it. Oh, that gun was miraculous to shoot.
When I was still competing hardcore, Barrett was one of my sponsors. So
Nice.
um, I have a lot of Barrett, stuff. But I love my Les Bears. I love, a lot of my ones. But I'm sure you know JJ Ricazza,
Yeah, I think I met him once very briefly this past year actually for the first
Shot
time.
Show.
Not shot. It was actually at the NRA show the day before the NRA show started in Houston this past year in May. Um, I went to the PSA. Uh, um, was it PSA? Yeah, I think the Palmetto State. I think it was them. No, no, it wasn't. What's the other company that starts with a P? Losing my mind right now. Primary Arms. It was Primary Arms Day, where kind of like Range Day, where we just shooting and booths and stuff like that. So I went there and I that's where I met him. But are you going to shot quickly since you mentioned it?
I'm not going this year.
Ooh, I
I
can't wait.
I wish I could. But as everyone on my channel knows, I need open heart surgery, so I
Ooh,
can't fly from Pittsburgh to Vegas right now.
oh man.
Um,
Uh,
but no, yeah, I mean, Cycle Boy, you're very right. And I've had this discussion with many people that, my Les Bear is more accurate than they are. But the gun's only as accurate as your shooting ability. But if you put
Absolutely.
it on a bench rest, it's more accurate than most people could ever be. And since the tolerances are so tight on it, um, you know, it's awesome. I love it. But yeah, I have just about every brand except Glock
Yeah. So I know
going.
right now I'm pretty set with. I know this is gonna sound blasphemous to many people. I'm pretty set with guns that I need in terms of like I have my AR, I have there's a difference between like a need gun and then a want gun, right? I mean, let's be honest. I need all guns, right? Like, let's be honest, right? Like, do I do I need a Marlin lever action that I want to tactical up? Absolutely not.
I want a
But I
Nemo arms.
Nemo arms are fantastic, right? But like, do you really need it? That you know what I'm saying? So right now, honestly, the two guns that I really want is I do want a I guess Marlin sold to Ruger. So I want a Marlin black, um, and I want to put like a tactical rail on it, and I kind of want to be, you know, when the apocalypse hit and I'm walking down a dusty road, I gotta have a lever action on my back. So, um, I want that, and then honestly, I really want to get a staccato.
I'm gonna
I
rely on my Barrett and my.
That's good. That's good, and as well as you should. But I mean, I really love the staccato C2, and um, it's like every time I save up for it, it's like, oh wait, my kid's sick. There goes the money. Um, but but yeah, it's I really want the staccato. Eventually, one day, I will get it. But those two are the last two guns that like I really really want, and after that, everything else is just
I really, really, really want the new one of the Nemos. That might be my next
Nemo
big
arms.
purchase.
I actually have them on my uh shot show app exhibitor stars so that I can go visit them in was it in like a week and a half.
Yeah, I'm so hoping to go to Shot Show this year. I'll be there next year, but you know, I love Shot Show. I was saying with JJ, I got to fire his race gun. He got to use
Oh,
my
nice.
race gun years and years and years ago. But everyone always wants to play with the race guns, and as I tell everybody, and I'm sure you'll agree, race guns, you better be damn good and know what you're doing
Yeah.
because I have barely a 2 pound pull on it.
Yes, you got to be. I mean, if you're carrying, I mean, anyone who carries a
It's
race gun as an
oh
EDC is
no,
an idiot.
no,
But
mine's ported, compensated.
right, everything.
Yeah, mine is not carryable. It is
Yeah,
strictly competition ported and compensated.
yeah. No, I've shot a few race guns before, and they're fantastic. They're a lot of fun to shoot, but I mean, I mean, you touch that trigger and it goes off. So you got to be.
I got into an argument with one of the law tubers that he didn't see an issue carrying a gun with this 2 pound pole. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like,
Yeah.
you have something with a 2 pound pole, you're opening a door you don't want to open.
Yes. No, you're not. I mean, hey, it's America. If you want to carry one, do it.
Yeah,
However,
but if you could, someone bumps into you, it's going off.
right, I highly recommend you don't do it. But hey, you want to carry
Teach
it,
his own.
to each their own. Um, yeah, I
But
don't know. I missed. So 2 years ago, Shot Show was canceled. Last year, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before Shot, I ended up getting COVID, and I didn't want to be that guy walking around Shot Show spreading it, so I didn't go last year. So I haven't gone in 2 years, but this year I'm like
I wish I could
so
go.
stoked. I haven't been in 2 years. I already have like a ton of meetings set up, and I have um, you know, trying to get people to start carrying my books more, and it's great. I can't wait. I literally cannot wait to go, especially no wife, no kids for 5 days. So um, definitely a bonus to that. And the best part is I'm staying at one of my closest friends' houses, and I haven't seen him in a few years. So I'm staying by him. I actually got him tickets to two parties that I'm going to. So he's excited to be like part of Shot Show ish. Um, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Well, next time I'm down in Texas or you're up this way, give me a holler, and I'll catch you, whatever, and we'll have to meet up to shoot. Kind of.
Absolutely.
We could have met up at Shot Show this year. I won't be there though. Um, yeah. Anybody else have questions for the Pew Pew Jew? Go
Yeah.
follow him. Get his books. Get the books for kids. His stuff is amazing.
Thank you.
Um,
And you're I'm still waiting for your
I
part of
sent
my
it.
next book. Did you?
Yeah, I emailed it. If you didn't get it, I can resend it.
I don't.
My email was being stupid for a while and was like holding things in no man's land and then
I
sending
don't.
it in batches.
Did we talk about? Did I make corrections and send it back to you?
No.
Okay, so then I didn't get it.
Okay, I'll resend it to you,
Yeah,
no problem.
I didn't get it then because I that's what I'm doing. I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
the
we'll
premise
get
of the
there.
book, but um, I go through it, I edit it in terms of kind of making small change, not changing
Oh,
what
yeah,
you
everyone's got to
wrote, but
edit.
like just making it smooth a little, and then after you approve it, it goes to the lead
Yeah.
editor of Pew Pew Tactical,
Yeah, I will,
who
like I said, I'll resend that, not a problem.
yeah, please do.
Um,
But if anyone has any questions for me about anything
yeah, go
Judaism
ahead, ask.
related, guns, I mean,
Toss them in. Toss
yeah,
them right now, guys.
yeah, throw
I'll,
that up there.
and I'll throw them up.
I have a little
Um,
time before my. I mean, I'm looking at I have YouTube chat open too, so
yeah,
I'm seeing them. But if anyone has any questions
but I
about
mean,
firearms, Jews, anti-Semitism, whatever, um,
yeah, I mean, I
I,
I always joke that like the first person to start something at services is like wrong person right here to be sitting there like wrong person. I will fix this for you, but how? Oh, STFU, you went there.
what did he say?
Israel's to a lot. Like Howard.
Oh, Israel's. Oh, so I'll talk about that because I've had many conversations with a
So
lot
have
of people from
I.
Israel.
And when I lived
Israel,
there,
yeah, Israel gun. Sorry, my shoes are like Israel gun laws suck. Um, on every level. I mean, we're talking about co- probably worse than like New York, to an extent, California to an extent. Um,
but
so
you'll see lots of long gun open carry.
yes, but all those long gun open carry are either
It's
reservists or
yeah,
military, right? In
yeah.
Israel, so check this out. In Israel, you are only allowed to own one firearm at a time, and it has to be registered. On top of that, it can only be a handgun. You are not allowed to own as a civilian any sort of long gun. So that means you cannot own a 22 caliber. You can't own a Ruger 1022. It is illegal. You are only allowed to own one handgun at a time. You are only allowed to have you are only allowed to have 50 rounds of ammo in your home at any given time. You cannot own more than 50 rounds. If you want to get a new gun, then you would need to go to like whoever is in charge there. You need to turn your gun in and then show them the new gun you want, buy it, go back, register it. And again, like we're talking about like, oh, hey, we have like the Tavor and the Galil and all these awesome guns that IWI comes out with. You are not allowed to own any of them if you are a civilian.
Hmm.
It's because you have to go for, I think, a psychological evaluation every 2 years, I think it is, in order to carry a gun. It's nearly impossible to own a gun in like to get a permit to carry in like Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, like the big cities. Uh, it- it's it's their gun laws are so bad there. People are like, "How come you're never going to move to Israel?" I'm like, "Because I am a gun guy and I cannot give up my guns right now. I just can't." Even moving to a place like Israel, I'm like, guns for me, it's not just about, I mean, obviously the main point is to be able to protect my family, myself, things like that, what the Second Amendment stands for. However, guns bring me such an immense amount of pleasure in terms of shooting them and in terms of just enjoying running and gunning and stuff like that. I said, I'm not going to sit there and give one of my biggest passions in life up just to be there. Um, so yeah. Anyone else? Oh, right. You said you posted. Are there any non-kosher caliber guns?
Thomas is our resident jokester. We love
Got it.
Thomas.
That's awesome. Are
He
there any
comes up with the
non?
best sarcastic comments.
I'm trying to think if I can answer that sarcastically.
Wait,
Are
hold on.
there
I gotta find one of Thomas's other ones for you. I was dying when I
any
saw it.
non-kosher caliber? Um, I don't think so. I mean, most guns are. Yeah, most guns are I mean, kosher, right? Like I like where is it? I have there. I'll show. All your followers can go to my website and buy these patches. Gun control's not kosher, right? So if you guys want to have some fun, right there. Gun control's not kosher. I got patches. Um,
He's got jerseys. He's got awesome
okay, so
shirts.
so so the jerseys I don't have actually. The jersey this is
Well,
Mark. So
I need one. I play
we can
hockey. I
we
want
can
one.
definitely discuss getting you one.
I want one.
That's definitely not a
Hold
problem.
on. I gotta try to find Thomas's one. He posted one earlier, and I was like, I am not. I was gonna put it up when he posted it, and now I have to.
Well,
I
he just asked when you have Israel guns, do they have to be circumcised? Um, so, like America, sawed-off guns are not allowed in Israel.
what is this? Well, STF, you put that up.
With all the liberals also consider turning along with conservative, tasteful but tactful might be an untapped market. What?
Well, because Thomas put this up.
Oh, got it. Tasteful yet tactful, yes. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
The tactical tux and matching D-Day dress shoes will keep you looking sharp while looking. If I had money for a tactical tux, I would totally buy one. Um,
Thomas comes up with the best. He kills me. Or the yeah. I mean, like Thomas kills me.
Why do you need a Glock when you have an Iron Dome? I mean, because I live in America. Like,
We had, oh my god, the Iron Dome. Yeah, but he kills me. Thomas is like, I'm trademarking this.
yeah,
He's hysterical. Um, but yeah, no,
I love your shirt, by the way, the AK guy.
oh, it's hysterical. It's way too big on me, and I
Is
was,
it?
yeah. The smallest size he makes is a men's small. You can't get it in kids sizes.
So I'm good friends with him, with Brandon. He's a good buddy of mine.
Oh, you have to hook me up with him. He's awesome. I want to talk to him. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is a great guy. On my last book, on the bullet points book, he actually is on the back of the book. He wrote me a review, so he's a good buddy of mine. Someone
Oh,
asked,
okay.
"Why do you need a Glock when you have God?" Because we have Democrats. Next question.
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody's hysterical. But my chat likes to wild out, but they're awesome. Um,
I'll be honest with you. Your chat's great so far. I mean, the comments are hilarious. If you have lived through, I don't know if you're familiar with. I don't know if he does it anymore. Even I haven't seen it in a long time. There was a Saturday night podcast called Tundra Nation, Tundra Tactical.
mm-mm,
This podcast could go from an hour long to 6 hours long. I mean, we're talking about you never know how long it's going to go. You never know what's going to happen. Um,
that's my chat.
but this was like literally the wild west. It started off with the host, a guy named Tyler Lindley, having an entire full bottle, and not the 740 milliliter. It's like the 1.5 liter bottles of
Hmm.
Jack Daniels. Excuse me. And it's a very likely outcome that within 2 hours the bottle was empty. And the things that happen on that show, um god, I can't even begin to tell you. I, oh, it's great. I miss it. I have to text him. I haven't talked to him in a while though. Anyways, uh sniper nest. Ooh, my package
at
was
the
delivered
at the hotel.
at the hotel. Sniper nests along the Wailing Wall, yes or no? I mean, in
That's
theory,
funny.
right, in theory it would be great. However, like, there's no room. Like, if you've ever been there, right? Like,
Oh, I can make room anywhere.
see, I don't know how big you are. You keep saying you're so small. I can't tell.
I am 5'11", but I weigh 130 pounds. So I wear a kid's extra large, but I'm 5'11".
So that's not really that small. I mean, that's skinny.
Right, but I'm very like, you know, I, I, I'm tall, but I'm very little like overall.
Right. Very
Um,
okay.
we joke in my family that
I'm
I don't,
I'm listening. Just
I'm
gonna get
trying
a
to think
tissue.
of I'm trying to think of who did it. Somebody was making someone made a joke that they thought all Jews were supposed to be short, and so that I couldn't actually be Jewish once they had seen, me. They're like, I thought all Jews are, or is that just the men? My brother's 6'9". My
Wow.
uncle's 7'2". My cousin's 6'11". I was like, yeah, we're the one set of Jews that missed that memo.
It's okay if you see my son, my 6-year old, number three. He is platinum blonde hair and gigantic blue eyes, and yeah, let's just say,
Recessive genetics are great.
and let's also let's also say that he was not vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. So you want to talk about pure bloods? There you go. Although my wife would be punching me if she heard me say that. I make those jokes all the time because my wife is blonde hair and blue eyes. So I make the joke constantly. Like a couple years ago when he was 4 years old, he was playing very nicely upstairs. Well, he was four at the time, but my little guy, and we're like, "Hey, bud, it's time for dinner," and he comes pissed off. I mean, stomping on the ground down the stairs in our house because he was playing nicely and he didn't want to stop. Like, no, it's dinner time, and he comes and he's doing the whole stomping like that, and I just start laughing, and my wife is like, "Don't you dare say it!" And I just turn to him and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, who taught you to goose step, or does it just come naturally?" And my wife just started yelling at me, "You're gonna give our kids, make them crazy." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. My kids are gonna be so like well adjusted because of the jokes I throw at them." Granted, he was four and he didn't get it, but I thought it was a hilarious joke.
Oh yeah, like obnoxious jokes are abound in my family all the time.
Yeah.
Always. Um oh yeah, someone asked if I was a Russian Jew. No, I am Czech. I am first generation American. My grandmother was a Holocaust survivor. My mother was born in the was now the Czech Republic.
Have you ever been there?
No, so I was supposed to go last year, 2 years ago. Last for the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Stutthof,
Okay.
because Stutthof was my grandmother's final camp. Um, so I was supposed to go to that, but COVID, obviously, they canceled it. Last time I went to the Czech Republic was with my grandmother because she wanted to walk through the gates um, at Auschwitz and walk right back out and flip everybody off, since she said the last time she was the cattle car. So she was going to walk through them and walk back out on her own and go spit on something.
So I was there. I
I
went
was
to.
dying.
That's awesome. I've been to Czech. Um,
I
I've
have
been.
Czech citizenship.
Do you really? That's cool.
It's birthright citizenship, and um, the Czech Republic about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, came out with a law that if you were stripped of your citizenship during the Holocaust, you could have your citizenship back, even though they're not a dual citizenship country. They would grant you your citizenship under this special authority that you didn't have to renounce your home
Wow,
countries.
that's very cool.
And it's birthright citizenship. So since my
So
mom was
you're a
born there,
full, yeah.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
have US and Czech citizenship.
that is pretty cool. I loved Prague. We went around Czechoslovakia for a couple days. But Prague, man, that place is just gorgeous. Like on every level, gorgeous.
Yeah, Prague is gorgeous. My mom's from a town called Decin pod Mokli, which is in all the way in the north, and it's actually two cities. One side of the river is Decin, and the other side's got Podmokli, and they just refer to them as one, which is Decin Podmokli. That's where my mom was born. So
Yeah,
I
it's awesome.
I was there
It
when
was
I was a
amazing
little
there.
kid, but like not that I remember. I'm going
Right.
back. I'm going back for March of the Living next year.
Oh, cool. That's very
So,
cool.
mhm. But I'm gonna jump off. I have to go pick up mini me's at school because it's 2 o'clock, which means Shabbat. Because
Yeah.
it's good. Um, but I can't wait to have you on here again. I can't wait to see you in
Yeah.
person.
Like I said,
I will,
any time.
yeah, I will resend you that chapter, and much refuah shlema for you and
Thank
the
you.
stomach, and chat. If we all love you, you're always welcome.
Thank you. I
Everybody
appreciate
go
that.
check out Pew Pew Jew and support him for me.
I
All my
appreciate that.
beasties know. All my beasties know. So, beasties, stay safe And at 8:30 tonight, I will see you with Legal Mindset coming out of South Korea.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.